What's up, guys? This is Mark. Today we enter the duel between Joey and Marik, and it is a blast from start to finish. But I'm getting ahead of myself. When I was a kid, I actually had this duel on DVD, and I would watch it over and over again, not realizing that it was a shining example of determination and that astounding character motivations were at play. Now let's take a look back and see what this duel has hidden behind the curtain, so to speak. The story wastes no time. This duel literally takes place immediately after the preliminary one does. But I have to wonder, why exactly? I mean, I get that Seto wants the tournament to be over quickly, but at least give Joey a minute to prepare or to catch his breath. But more on Seto in a bit. Oh, my bad. It looks like Joey has been given a grace period, only that grace period lasts for a total of 5 minutes. Wow. Joey and Marik are taken to the very top of the duel tower, making Kaiba's location choices even more ridiculous. Even more ridiculous is how Seto just keeps putting Joey down. He keeps saying that Joey doesn't stand a chance against Marik's Egyptian god card, making Joey frustrated. Yuki proceeds to say that Ra has powers beyond their understanding, but Seto claims that he deciphered the card's text. Here's the thing, though. That card's inclusion in the Battle City tournament is completely illegal. See, in the official rulebook, it states that if a player uses a card that's in a different language, like Ra, which is written in ancient Egyptian text, that the owner of the card must provide a copy of the same card in English, or at least translate the text, so that the other player can understand. Ra shouldn't even be in this tournament. It's completely illegal, not to mention completely unfair to the other players, not to mention the other people involved. Now we get into the nitty-gritty. I have been saving up a rant for a few years thanks to this duel. Seto is obsessed with the god cards. He constantly states that he's just watching Joey's duel to get an idea of what Ra is capable of. Now, I'm not the type of person that says you shouldn't prepare for anything, but we are talking about a life-and-death situation here. Ra has not only won duels for Marik, but it has also sent people to the Shadow Realm, effectively killing them. In fact, I take that back. It does kill them in the original Japanese version! Seto is so oblivious to this fact that it baffles me, and it only gets worse, trust me. Anyway, the duel begins, and within 2 turns it becomes a Shadow game. Can't we get one duel in this tournament that isn't Shadow-themed? Come on! Everyone, with the exception of Seto, wants to stop the duel, but Joey has already made up his mind, and he continues on with it. Joey remains confident, but Marik says that he added some things to the game to make it more interesting. Essentially, both players have energy streams attached to themselves and to their monsters. And whenever those monsters are attacked or destroyed, the owner is drained not just of potential life points, but of their inner strength as well. To put this into perspective, imagine that you've gone a few days without sleep. You know that you can keep going, but as the stresses of life come crashing down around you, you get weaker and weaker until you can't take anymore and you pass out from exhaustion. There is a gripe that I have with this as well, but that's for later. Essentially, your inner strength and life points are 2 different things, and as long as you have points left, you should be able to make a comeback. After all, losing all your life points is what makes you lose a duel in the first place. However, by draining your inner strength, it makes it more difficult for you to fight back or last. But that doesn't mean that you lose if your strength is drained, as we'll see later when I explain the issue I have. Marik launches an offensive, draining Joey a little bit. Joey, however, states the following: "This creep can drain my physical strength all he wants, but he'll never drain my determination." This is a true test of Joey's motivation, not only as a duelist, but also as a fighter. And as Yuki says, this is the true test of his strength. Joey shrugs off the pain and continues to fight to Marik's shock, and Joey actually gets a hit in, draining Marik of both his strength and his life points. However, by attacking Marik, Joey activated an ability that will render his hand completely useless. See, Marik's Helpo Emmer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry. Marik's Helpo Emmer enters the opponent's graveyard once it's destroyed, and it takes 1 random card from their hand with each turn, rendering some of Joey's best cards completely useless before he even gets a chance to use them. Joey does manage to gain the upper hand, but Marik essentially has him at a standstill thanks to his arsenal of traps, not to mention the continuous drainage of Joey's life points thanks to Marik's traps. Joey does manage to get the advantage again thanks to a card called Question. I'm pretty sure that the card itself doesn't exist within the actual trading card game. I looked around the web and couldn't find it at all. Question forces Marik to guess which monster is at the bottom of Joey's graveyard, but Marik has destroyed so many monsters that he can't remember which one was first. Then Joey drops the bombshell, stating that the monster in question, no pun intended, was destroyed by Marik's Hopohammer. This, in turn, allows Joey to summon Jinzo, completely turning the tables, as well as making Marik one step closer to losing. After this, Joey reflects on how he got Jinzo, and afterwards he states that he isn't alone, as he has Mai and Serenity for inspiration, as well as Yugi and the others cheering him on. Joey almost defeats Marik if it wasn't for a spell card. Marik then summons Lava Golem, nearly wiping out Joey's entire playing field, and while Lava Golem is a very powerful monster, its special ability drains 700 of Joey's life points each turn, although in the actual card game it takes 1000 points per turn. Marik then eggs Joey on, goading him into attacking. Joey does attack Marik, but in doing so he falls right into another trap. Eventually, Marik drains even more of Joey's strength, but Joey stands tall and hangs in there. He plays Graceful Dice, and through a successful dice roll, he freezes monsters for Marik's Plasma Eels. Joey then summons Guilford the Lightning, and wipes out all of Marik's monsters thanks to its special ability. Joey nearly wipes Marik out, only for Marik to be saved by a last-minute trap card. Talk about luck of the draw. Marik then summons his Egyptian God card from the graveyard thanks to Monster Reborn, and activates Ra's Phoenix mode, allowing it to completely annihilate Guilford, despite Ra having no attack points at all. This brings us to the gripe I have. It makes sense as to why Ra is able to defeat Guilford, but what I don't get is why Joey loses. He didn't lose any life points at all, and thus didn't lose the duel. Like I said before, I get that his strength was drained by the attack, but why count Joey out because he isn't responding? It doesn't make sense. On to the awesomeness though. Marik gets so scared and terrified, it's actually hilarious. Joey is still standing the fight despite having his strength drained, and Marik is left wide open. Joey then has some kind of dream sequence in which Yugi appears. In the dream, Yugi gives Joey a pep talk.
Your mind's in a state of shock. Don't you remember, Joey? Your willpower was strong enough to resist the force of Ra.
Oh, right. Now Marik's wide open for my attack.
Exactly! Now get back there and finish him off so you can save the world!
Joey nearly succeeds in wiping Marik out with Guilford the Iron Knight, but he doesn't have the strength to continue, and he collapses from exhaustion. Joey loses the duel due to not getting up in time. And there is a subject that interests me, that being the Millennium Necklace. Yugi uses it to look into the future, and he sees himself dueling Joey. Honestly, I wonder how that duel would have gone. After all, it's their first rematch since Duelist Kingdom, and it would have been excellent to see how Joey matched up against Yugi now that he's gone through so much development. Regardless, the stage is set for the last semi-final duel, Yugi vs. Kaiba. I honestly really like this whole duel. As I said before, it's the ultimate test of Joey's strength and determination. He more than proves himself a worthy duelist not only through his astounding confidence, but also in his willingness to fight on, despite the odds being stacked against him. Before he collapses, Joey has victory within his grasp, and the only reason he didn't win is due to exhaustion. Not because he lost his remaining life points. So even though Joey technically lost, his soul was spared due to his remaining points. That being said, he is knocked into a coma, which takes him out of the picture for a few episodes. And now we get back to Seto. Where do I even begin with this guy? So, Seto allows Joey to face Marik knowing about the destruction that Marik has caused. After all, he did witness all of it. And he's more obsessed with Marik's God card than he is of the safety of the people on board his craft, whose safety he is legally responsible for. Even when Marik is about to wipe Joey out, Seto objects to Mokuba's insistence that they stop the duel, stating that he has to witness Ra's special ability with his own eyes. It astounds me how much of an airhead Seto is sometimes. But that can all be dismissed in the grand scheme of things. It's all part of Seto's character, and we do actually see some reluctance from him. For example, after Joey is shown still standing, Seto wonders how Joey withstood Ra's power, and he actually shows some respect for Joey by thinking that Joey isn't as much of an amateur as he thought. Seto gradually grows as a character over the course of the series, and that growth begins here. On the topic of voice acting, I have to say that Wayne Grayson and Jonathan Todd Ross knocked it out of the park, and they both gave great performances. The rest of the cast is fine, no problems from what I can tell. And with that, this concludes part 3 of this series. This arc is pulling out all the stuff from here on, though, and as such, when we return, we'll be examining the long-awaited rematch between Yugi and Seto, only this time they will have their Egyptian god cards by their sides. See you there!